Okay, so Marcus, I just finished my goofy little 19-minute explanation of your clubs. And so now this is after you've hit them all and maybe picked something, just to kind of go through stuff with you. Since I'm only sending you the one driver shaft, I don't think you'll have much of a controversy, but you might, I guess. The other thing too is I could probably send you a couple, now that I'm staring into space thinking, why don't I send you some other driver shafts? We could see if you hit a different one better, but I'll do that later. So if this driver shaft doesn't click with you, up here on my rack of non-tour stiff shafts, I probably have 6, including one that is kind of considered a tour stiff shaft. So maybe have some other options for the driver shaft, but I'm confident that's going to be an upgrade that's noticeable and that you like. So these Titleist irons are like supposed to be the cult classic. Most of these irons that I'm sending you are like cult classic irons. So there's so many people who only recently switched out of playing all of these Titleist irons, and sort of the AP2s are pretty darn forgiving, but these are like the least forgiving of the AP2 models. The current AP2s, or the AP2s they made next generations after this one, are a bit more forgiving. This is more of a player's iron. So it's kind of a forgiving player's iron that matches well with all of these blades. So, but if anybody's supposed to be playing full-on blades, it is you, which is why I sent you 2 blade options. So this is straight up old school shit here, man. This is, you know, this is Nicholas in the 60s and 70s and 80s irons. But these Titleists are supposed to be really well balanced, and people who play blades still play these blades in particular. But it's a classic blade style. So this iron, this is like a 2007 iron, and this is just a basic. You take a blade iron and you put in the bare minimum peripheral weighting. But a lot of people swear by this as one of the best. Basic, not a blade, but what can you do to a blade to make it just forgiving enough, but still let it, a good player work the ball left, right, or play higher and lower shots. That's this iron here. And then this shaft, I still think is going to be too weak for you, too wimpy flexed. I was trying to put in a set of 7.0s in this, and then a guy sent me the shafts, and 3 of them were fucking bent. So I was going to put 7.0s in this, and then I said, screw it, let me send him a different set. See if he likes the feel, if they just feel whippy, or if he feels like he's spraying them all over. We can always take these heads and put them into any shaft you want. And it's possible that you'll feel like swinging clubs are good, and then we can take the shafts out of anything else and hodgepodge them together. So these irons are actually mine. None of these other ones were my sets. These were just sets that I bought. But these were my irons. I bought these. Golfsmith, I was having these forged in, the rumor was they were forged in Korea or Japan and not China. I can't find that in the info anymore. But these were like supposed to be an amazing set of blades. This would be from, let's see, I got these when I was 32, so that makes them 17 years old. So you're talking about these being from 2002, 2003, 2004, right in that era. And they're a really good set of blades. And then this was the original non-stepped shaft. So these are the original rifle 6.5s. And some people at the time said, "Oh my God, that's like swinging some rebar." But I played these clubs for like a year and a half, and I never thought that they felt crazy stiff. I thought the blades were a little bit unforgiving. But back in the day, there was the thought, if you've ever heard the phrase, you dress for the job you want, not the job you have. The idea that I read about was, if you want to be a low handicap player, you got to play blades so that you can tell when you hit it poorly, so you know when you hit it off the toe or the heel, so you can correct your strike. If you have forgiving clubs, you're never going to be able to start to hit it consistently on the center of the club face. So I have these all the way to a fucking 2 iron. So we can send you a 2-iron to pitching wedge, and you can be the only guy you know still swinging a 2-iron. But they're pretty awesome. I really liked the pitching wedge to about the 7-iron, and I had some fun swinging these in the simulator the other day. You do lose distance compared to the modern clubs, so but that's just getting over the idea of hitting a 9-iron instead of a pitching wedge, or hitting an 8-iron instead of a pitching wedge, I guess, and then just hitting the green, right next to the flag, I guess, for you, I guess. But see what you think of that. So those are the Golfsmith blades. And then if I had to guess which set of irons you're going to like, I bet it's going to be these. And these are the true kind of a cult classic iron, in my opinion. And I'd always wanted a set of these. And then I bought this set with this tour stiff shaft for you. And then I lengthened them because they were too short. And these, I think, are awesome. So awesome that in the last week and a half or 2 weeks I bought another set of them, because I bet these are the ones that you like, and these are the ones that you're going to keep, and then I need to get an extra set around for me. But these are tailor-made rack irons, and they were made by the Miura, M-I-U-R-A, the Miura factory in Japan. And Miura now makes their own clubs, all forged. They make blades, and this is how they got kind of famous, though, if I remember correctly. So this was like from 2005, and these clubs were immediately the cream of the crop, and so they won all kinds of, I think they won Golf Digest's Hot Award and Golf Magazine's Best or something. So these made everybody's list. A bunch of tour pros played these for quite a few years, and there are still loads of people who play them. I have a buddy who is the other lower handicapper guy that I know, who's like a scratch or a 1 or a 2 or a 3, and he plays these irons still to this day. So I think that you'll probably like these the best, because when I hit them, I was like, man, these are smooth. These remind me of my old Mizunos. And they are really very similar to the Mizuno MP60s, which I was gonna reshaft those that I have for you, but then I thought these feel the same, they look the same, they're almost exact same technology. So these are the ones that I think you're gonna like the most, because when I took a swing at all the other ones, these were the ones that to me felt like old school buttery forged blade goodness. And I think they felt a little bit forgiving to me. They didn't feel unforgiving the way that the blades do. So I think you're going to like that set the best. I think blades, meh, but I bet you like those Titleist blades, because I thought those Titleists felt better than my old Golfsmith. Not that you can see these. So I thought that the Golfsmith blades didn't feel quite as buttery soft as the other ones did, but they were very similar. And then I like that idea, that hybrid set, where you could always throw in a different hybrid too. You could play the blades to a 7-iron and then have a 6 or a 5. So this is just having this AP2 in your 5 and your 4-iron, but you could get another AP2 6-iron and then play the blades from 7 to wedge. So those are good. Driving iron, if we can get the right shaft, I think that could be a really awesome club. I can just picture you hitting that some obscene distance, taking that 3 driving iron and hitting it, 270, 280 could be something that you're routinely doing if you get the right combo of shaft and if you can hit it straight. And then if you can't hit it straight, there's no good reason to play it. You should hit your 3-wood or do something differently. But I'm really hoping that is a club that you can like and get some confidence in, and is a driving iron, because that's what a bunch of scratch guys and low handicappers are doing on all the websites that I'm looking at. So seeing if probably one of those stiffer shafts will work for you, and if you can hit it consistently. And then I think this hybrid is a pretty awesome hybrid. Tons of people like it. It's supposed to be a hybrid that a low handicap guy can play all the way up to the worst golfer. It's supposed to be that kind of good for a 20 handicapper, good for a 25 handicapper, and then there's a lot of really good golfers who like it. But for a hybrid, it is a bigger head, and so some low handicappers don't need a hybrid head to be that big so to hit the center of the club face. So the only knock on it for you might be that it's a little harder, to really scramble with, or to try and punch it out of the rough or something, which is supposed to be a big perk. Smaller headed hybrids are maybe a little better for carving something out of the rough. But when it comes time to do that, I think you'll just hit a 200-yard 7-iron, whereas the rest of us have to hit a hybrid. So those are my secret behind-the-scenes thoughts that I will share with you once you have demoed all these other things out and have an idea of where you're going. And enjoy. I hope this is working well for you. I had a lot of fun putting this together, and we'll see if we can get you a new set of clubs worthy of your scratchy type handicap. See ya.